Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today is our second video in our What We Struggle With Watercolor series. Today I'm going to be talking all about floral bouquets and composition, and I'm going to give you 3 different tips on how to help with that. So let's jump right in. Okay, so today we're talking all about composition and floral bouquets and how to master that. Honestly, it is something I have not mastered yet, but I am going to give you a few tips on how it can help you. Okay, so the first thing, step 1, is plan it out. Now for me, that was something that was really difficult because I'm not much of a planner. I like to kind of just paint freeform, but it doesn't always turn out. So there are 3 things that you can do to plan it out. Number 1 is sketch out some ideas. So sometimes what I do is I just take a piece of like lined paper, whatever. I think of the flowers that I want to do, and I will just sketch out different variations of bouquets. So maybe like I want a rose, so I'm just gonna draw a random rose here. Maybe I want one of those kind of like anemone flowers, like really like loose sketches. It doesn't have to be good. Okay. Maybe like, would I want another peony here? I think it would look weird if it was pointing down. So maybe I should put the peony over here. So, I'll erase it. Just trying to see what looks good. So maybe I'll turn this into a peony. Okay. And then I'll put the rose down here. Okay. Just trying to plan it out. A little rule that I like to go by is kind of like a rule of 3 or 5, basically odd numbers. If you look at bouquets, you're not going to see a bouquet where it has 1 flower there, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 is an awkward number. It becomes like symmetrical and it looks a little weird. So when doing a bouquet, think of like 3s or 5s. So usually I will do 3 flowers, maybe a couple buds on the side or a smaller flower. Okay, so there's another one. And then maybe another smaller flower over here if you want, and a bud, I don't know. But think about 3s. It's just kind of like a nice number and they fit together well. Okay, and then just, sketch out different variations of what you think you'd like and then paint from that. So that is one option. Plan it out by sketching it out, okay? And it can be really rough, honestly, okay? So the second one is paint it and cut it. So I painted these florals. I'm just gonna put this over here. I painted these florals individually. And what you can also do, which I've done before, is cut each one out and then arrange it and try and find a composition you like and then try and recreate it while painting it. Okay, so I'll just show you quickly how I can do that. Okay, I apologize for the lighting change. I just realized I didn't have all my lights on. Okay, so now that they're all cut out, and again, you do not have to cut them out perfectly. They're just for the purpose of rearranging them and seeing what kind of composition you want. Just play around and have fun with the combinations. If you want to do more greenery, you can do that. See what looks best. Maybe you do want little flowers in there, maybe you don't. It's totally up to you. But just kind of see what looks best. Take some pictures as inspiration for when you actually do paint it. Okay, so that is an option for you to use for planning out your composition. Now, the first option was sketching it out, right? Second one was painting and cutting it out. And my last option for you is to use Photoshop. So for this, you are going to need a scanner. You're going to need the Photoshop program. And I don't know how to actually edit things and like rearrange them on Photoshop. I have not studied Photoshop. I don't know it. Basically, what I do know how to do with it is take away the background and have the flowers there individually without a background. So then what I do is I upload it to my iPad and I use the program Procreate to edit it. So I'm going to show you how I do all that on Photoshop and then send it over to Procreate to rearrange another composition. So here is how I do that. Okay, so this is my printer scanner. I'm not an expert at this, so I'm just going to show you how I do things. Not even sure if they're right. Here's my watercolor flowers. I'm just going to put it down. Okay, excuse my messy desktop. I'm going to try and do this while holding a camera. So I have opened Photoshop. Now I go up here to File, Import, Images from Device. Okay, and now I've already done an overview. It already scanned it. But the first thing you do is click Overview, so it shows you an overview of what is in your scanner. And if it's all kind of in frame and looks good, you press Scan. And then it will scan it for you. And you can also rename it whatever you like. You should have done that first, but it's all good. Okay, so now it's up on my desktop. What you're going to do is you're going to take this little magic eraser tool. If you want to right click and just see which one it is, it's the bottom of this. Okay, and then you're going to click on the white background to erase the background. Now, luckily, all of my watercolor is pretty saturated. Sometimes if you have a light wash of something or you don't have the sharp edges, it will take away some of your watercolor. So let's just pretend it did it to this. Okay, and that's what happened. What you're going to do, I believe, is press, let's see if I can do this. Shift, left bracket, and then Y. Okay, and then it brings you to this little circle, which is a history brush tool. Okay, and then you're just going to click and it's going to bring that watercolor that you just erased back. And you can go like more diligently over the edges and you can make it smaller or bigger. I forget how to do that, but you can do that. With the brush, you can make the brush smaller or bigger, and you can just bring that watercolor back. If that happens, which does happen with lighter watercolor bits. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I don't edit and arrange things on Photoshop. I'm not as familiar with Photoshop. I don't even know if what I explained was correct. But what I do then, because I have erased the background, let me just take away, did it work? Okay, there, I've taken away the background. Okay, so now the whole background is removed and I am going to save this as a PNG. So you can save it in Photoshop too, but I'm going to save it as a PNG, which is a file that has removed the background. Okay, and I'll just, let's say, composition for this video. I'm just going to name it that. It's just really hard to do and hold. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Click save, and then it takes a little while to save it. So just wait. Oh, I'm going to click OK. And right here, you can see it's saving. It will tell you when it's done. Okay, so once it is saved, you find it in your computer, wherever you saved it. Here it is. So you can see there's a black background. There are some little white bits too that did not erase with that eraser tool. That's okay, but for the most part, they're basically all just cut out, and that's what you want. So now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to airdrop it to my iPad. Okay, so now it is in my photos. And I'm gonna go into my Procreate app and I'm gonna add a new one. Yes, I have a bunch of stuff in here. Gonna go to screen size. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how I edit it in my Procreate app. Okay, so now I'm in my Procreate app. I want to bring in that photo. So I go to Add, I can do this with my pen, insert a photo, find that photo. Okay, so here it is. So now what I can do is rearrange them. Now I'm just going to use this tool that selects it all, and I'm just going to move them down here for now, okay? And I'm just going to select one by one by using this lasso tool, drawing around like so, okay? And I can place them where I need to, okay? Now, if you want more than one of these, what you can also do is you can duplicate the layer. So you have 2 of each flower. Okay? So you know what? I may duplicate a bunch of them to create more layers. Okay? So now I'm going to grab one of the purple flowers. And I'm going to bring it up here. So because it's on another layer, these are separate now. Okay? So this purple one is on a layer. So I'm going to go to another layer and I'm going to grab this orange one. Okay? And I'm going to move it. Now, if you want a certain flower in front of the other, you have to go to your layers and say you want this orange flower on top. Bring the layer with the big orange flower and bring it to the top. And then it will be in front. Okay? So now you can rearrange these by going back and forth to the layers and moving them individually. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. I don't know how. I am not an expert at this, but this is just how I do it, okay? I feel like people are going to be cringing. So this is how you're going to arrange your bouquet to figure out how you want your composition to look, okay? So you guys can just watch me kind of now, play around and see how it goes. Okay, I also just realized that with all the lights off in my room, this flower was going all wonky. So I just turned my lamp on so you can see all flowers at all times now. Now you can watch me rearrange these. I apologize. So if you watched my last fall floral bouquet video, you'll see that this was the exact thing I did to come up with the composition for it. I was struggling a lot trying to figure out how I wanted these flowers to be arranged, and this seemed to be the best method for me. Okay, so there you go. There is your composition after moving things around, seeing what I like, seeing what I didn't like. So you can even use this if you've edited it well. Like honestly, I don't know if you can see, like there's like a little purple mark there. There's still like other marks. I wouldn't necessarily, get this printed and sell it at all. But it gives me an idea of what I want to paint. So you can use this as a guide of what looks good. And then it's just trying to figure out how to master that, which is the next part. But it's just something you have to practice. So that is another way that you could figure out what kind of composition you want for your floral bouquets. Okay, so there are your 3 options. My last little tip is if you don't want to do all that planning, go to Pinterest, type in floral bouquets or just bouquets or summer bouquets, fall bouquets, and honestly, just look for some inspiration photos. Scroll through and start pinning things that really, jump out at you. The colors, the compositions of things, maybe you want a cascading bouquet. How does that look? Just look at inspiration photos. Okay, I do that lots. I even have my own little Pinterest board of just florals of things that I really like. For color palettes, look up color palettes. Okay, so this is also going to help you gain some inspiration. If you don't know what colors go together, spend a day color matching. So I love this color palette, right? You're going to spend a day or, like a few hours trying to match these colors. How do I make these colors? Because this is a beautiful color palette for a bouquet maybe, okay? Use your resources. If you have a computer, you have the internet, look up different color palettes. That's how I do it. And then you can take your paper and swatch your color palette before you even start painting. So that's another, piece where you're planning it out. So let's see. That was kind of like a gray and indigo color. There we go. And then there was that kind of sap green, but it was more of a mauvey kind of green. Now that goes nice together. And then that burgundy color. Here's some burgundy in here. Swatch it out before you paint and see what looks good together, what doesn't, okay? So my biggest tip overall is plan it out, okay? So once again, try and use one of these 3 techniques to plan out your composition, sketch it out, cut it out or Photoshop it. Okay? I hope you guys learned something and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.